Hey everybody, I'm back with another installment in the Nashville number system. The Nashville number system is a system that uses numbers in place of chord symbols, where you would traditionally see chords spelled out above sheet music. If we were in the key of G, you would see the 1 chord as the G, the 4 chord as the C, the D chord as the 5, and etc. A minor would be your 2 chord. B minor would be your 3 chord, and etc. But it wouldn't spell it out in numbers. It would just show you the chord. It would show you a G major chord, C2 possibly D7, and you would follow the music and look at the chord you're to play and play it. The thing you get stuck with in that is that when you have to play with someone who needs to sing it in a different key, they need to sing it in the key of C. Now you're looking at a piece of music that has the G. Now you got to go scribble it out and write a C over there and mentally transpose it. If you will learn the Nashville number system, it will save you a lot of time. I talked about that in the introductory video on why you should use it. This will go a little more in-depth into what it is. I'm going to assume that you know a few things, but I'll briefly touch on them. One, I'll assume that you know the note names. If you play a keyboard, that you know the notes on the keys. If you're a guitarist or a bass player, that you know the notes on the fretboard of your instrument. Or whatever instrument you play, you know how to play intervals, or you know how to play major scales or minor scales. The Nashville system is based on a chromatic scale, and it applies the numbers chromatically, and it will alter certain numbers so you know where to play them. So really quick, here's a review. The key of C. On the keyboard, you have the C note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. Like my invisible keyboard there. You can't see the keys. I don't have any. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C is the C major scale. Okay? C is our 1. It's our root note. And that is the key that we are in for our example. D is the second note in the scale. Therefore, it is represented by the number 2. E is our third note scale, so it is represented by a 3. And so on, just up the scale. F is the 4th scale step in the scale, and so it's 4 in the number system. So G is 5, we keep going up. A is 6, we keep going up. B is 7, and now we're back at C, which is our 1. Okay, so now C is 1, and that is a major chord. If you look at the C major scale and the chords that accompany them, if you were to play triads on the piano, you would be playing a major chord, a minor chord, a minor chord, a major chord, a major chord, a minor chord, a diminished chord, and back to our root. So for keyboard players, you'd be playing a C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and back to C. So anytime you see a Nashville number chart, and I'll get into how to read a chart, know that our 1 chord is whatever key that we're in is always going to be the 1 chord. In our example, we're in the key of C. So the C chord, the C major chord, is if you see a 1 on a chart, number chart in the key of C, that is your chord. If you see a 2, you will play a D minor. And typically that is written out with a 2 and a minus sign by it to indicate that it is a minor. I don't want to trip you up too bad, but you can also play a 2 major. And that would be spelled out too. There are symbols that we'll get into as these lessons progress, and all kinds of neat little things that they put in to the Nashville number system. I use this book. I referenced it in my last video. I highly recommend you get it for in-depth study. It is the Nashville Number System by Chaz Williams. You can get it online, Google it, and buy his book. It is excellent. Okay, so now that we know that our number system is based on a major scale, we can then take another major scale and apply the number system. So we could go to G major, the key of G. And now we're in the key of G. So what is our 1 chord? Our 1 chord is G. That's right. If you said G, you're right. Give yourself 1,000,000 points. You earned it. So G major is our 1 chord now. Now we go up the scale in our G chord, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. G's are 1, A minors are 2, B minors are 3, C major is our 4, D major is our 5 rather, E minor is our 6, and F sharp diminished is our 7. And then we're back to the 1. Okay. So now you can apply that to any particular key. I suggest you make a chart. This book has a chart. You can make one on your own. And all it is a chart of the major scales and the number substitution. So they took in the book, just made key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then they put above that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a great way for learning it. If you make this chart, sit down and write your major scales, and then just, here's what you do. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the top of a page. Then start with C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back to the 1. And then write your next scale, C sharp, D flat. Write all the notes in the scale. And then just write all of the harmonic in chromatic, C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, E flat, E, F, F sharp, and so on, until all of your scales are written out. And you can reference it as you're learning the number system. You can reference it and look and see, if in a key you're uncomfortable with, you haven't quite learned yet. You can't yet at that point go, oh, in the key of B, I know that a 6 is my G sharp, G sharp. It'd be my 6 in the key of B. So write that chart out and study it, okay? Major scales and number substitution table. Make one of those, and it will help you get it in your brain, all of the major scales and all of their numbers in the Nashville system. All right, I'm going to show you a Nashville number chart. Let me see here. There's a lot of information typically on some of these charts. Let me show you, find a good one here for you. Where we have in a typical chart, we typically have a chord symbol. We'll have a number now in place of that chord symbol. Okay? They put in this book all kinds of different musicians from Nashville, their charts, and I'm just flipping through here trying to find one to show you. Things that they put on a Nashville chart. If you can see that title of the song over here, the sections of the song that says intro, and they have not put a time signature on this. If they haven't put a time signature on it, it's in common time or 4/4. They might spell it out in 4 or 4, and typically they put the key of the song. They have not put the key of the song on this one. I typically put in a circle up at the top of my page when I'm charting it out that I'm in the key of C, or I'm in the key of G, or whatever song, key we're going to play that in. Now, they have put a 1, followed by a 1, followed by a 4, followed by a 1. And this is our 4-bar intro, or rather 4 bars of an 8-bar intro. If we keep following over at intro, we've got a 6 minor, a 5, followed by another bar of 1 and another bar of 1. What does all of that mean? Here is what that means. It means because we're in 4/4 time, it means that for 4 counts, we're going to play the 1 chord of whatever key we are in. Then we're going to go to the next bar or the next measure. And we're going to play for 4 counts the 1 chord. Then we're going to go to our next measure, and for 4 counts, we're going to play the 4 chord. Then we're going to go back to our 1 chord for 4 beats. Then we're going to go to the 6 minor chord for 4 beats. Then we're going to go to our 5 chord, 4 beats, 1 chord, 4 beats, 1 chord, 4 beats. And that's an 8-bar intro, okay? So if we were in the key of C, we've been talking about C all night, so we might as well stay there. The 1 chord is C. So we're going to play a C chord for 4 counts, followed by another C chord by 4 counts. Our 4 will go to the F chord and back to our 1, which is our C. We'll now go to the 6 minor in the key of C, which is A minor. And we'll play A minor for 4 beats. Then we'll go to our 5, which is a G major. We're going to play it for 4 counts. And then we're back to 1, which is C, and 1 again, which is C. So our 8 bars of that in the key of C is C, C, F, C, A minor, G major, C, C major. Okay? Now, it's not spelled out on here, but if we wanted to play the 2 major, actually that's the 5. Sorry, looking at it backwards in the camera. If we wanted to play the 6 major instead of the 6 minor, we would just take that minus away, and you can indicate with a triangle that you want that to be a major chord. Okay? So anytime you see a number standing by itself in a Nashville chart, it is going to represent 1 measure. This particular chart doesn't have any split measures. Let me find a split measure for you. I put split measures in parentheses. Sometimes people just underline them, okay? In this particular chart, we have a 5, okay? In this particular instance, we have a 5 by itself, so that's 1 measure. And then right next to it, we have a 4 and a 5 underlined. Now, what that underline is telling you is that these 2 chord changes are in 1 measure, but they're split. The measure is split. Where here we have a 4 count, here we still have a 4 count, but because they're together in that measure, we're going to play the 4 chord for 2 counts and the 5 chord for 2 counts. And if we were going to play the 4 chord for 3 counts, we would indicate that above with 3 little counts for the count, and then we would know that the 5 chord would only get 1 count. I put mine in parentheses. I put parentheses around them and then indicate if it's split equally in a measure of 4/4, that means that it's always going to get, 2 counts and 2 counts. If it's some other count, if your first chord in the split measure is going to get 1 count, you put a hash mark above it. And if your second chord is going to get 3 counts, you put 1, 2, 3 hash marks above it so you know how to count it. Okay? I'm going to stop there for today. And